Hey, good morning and welcome to Motivational Moments with Marissa. It's your life own it with my partner in crime, Nathaniel X. Ross. We are continuing to talk to you this month about doing the spring cleaning that's necessary. We are ending the first quarter of the year. The spring cleaning that's necessary. And one of the tools that we've really been focusing on is the SWOT analysis. And so we talked a little bit last week in regards to the SWOT analysis, doing a little introduction into that as it pertains to our personal awareness and our personal development. And so I was talking to Nathaniel backstage and I was asking him some questions about what's new and what's going on and things like that. And he was sharing with me. And so the only way that we know what's next and what we need to be doing is through the SWOT analysis. Would you agree with me, Nathaniel?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all self-reflection. It's, being in tune with happening with you with your body and with your environment.
Mhm.
Um, and I would say that most people don't take that part into consideration. We talk about mind, body, and spirit, which is really spirit, body, and mind, or my
Mhm.
spirit. You've got to take care of your spirit, take care of your mind, then take care of your body in that order. It's a sequential thing, but we tend to leave off environment and environmental influencers. Um, so we need to bring that into the conversation that as you're looking at yourself and you're doing the reflection, that you're also looking at the environment that you're in and you're looking at the influencers within that environment in order for us to be able to progress forward.
Yeah, you are so dead on point with that. And when we think about environment, we think about external influences, right? So your environment is an external influence, and that's why it's so important for you to know internally what's going on. Because when you do the internal work, you're easier to recognize the external influences. And that's why it's important. And this is not the popular conversation. Am I right or am I wrong?
Oh, absolutely. No one likes talking about this stuff. Or
Yeah.
I should say very few people. Some people get a kick out of it, but the masses do not enjoy this conversation at all.
No, and the sad part is this is that when you do have this conversation, you can get over your fears, right? You get over your inadequacies, and you can move forward. So, doing the SWOT analysis is critical in doing that introspective work that's required for you to really, really become so aware of your external influences and how to navigate through them successfully. So share some of your insight in regards to those environmental influences.
Well, it's I guess an example I would use is it. So I wrote a book called The American Dream: From the Streets to the Boardroom, and the streets was the environment in which I was raised in. I shifted and ended up in corporate America. So they're two distinctly different environments. And in those environments are different rules and different sets of behavior. And in the streets, you have the gangs, you have the thieves, you have the robbers, you have the killers, uh, the bad boys that are giving you advice and guidance. And in corporate America, you have the different managers and executives and people of that caliber giving you guidance and advice. So, whatever environment you're in, first you need to understand what environment am I in, and then who's speaking into my ear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Because you're going to start listening. So, one or two things happen. Um, Either you're going to change them or they're going to change you. And if it's you by yourself, they're going to change you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go into whatever environment you go into, you tend to think and speak based on the environment that you're currently in.
Right, you adapt. So you
Absolutely.
adapt to the environment. You said there's two things that you shared, and I was gonna bring it up, then I wasn't gonna bring it up because I always talk about it. You are the CEO of your life.
Hmm.
That's one. If you think in that concept, in that framework, that you are the CEO of your life, you begin to take ownership and you take things more seriously. And then you also begin to really tap into your own vision for your life, your how you see your life. And then I do a presentation called "Who's in Your Boardroom?" Now you're the CEO of your life. Who's in your boardroom? And I'm saying this in the sense that we talked about this. I think we tapped on into it either last week or in one of our conversations, which there are multiple boardrooms. There's not just one. So you said on the street, when you're at home or in your social environment, you have a boardroom there. And the boardroom is basically those people who sit in a place of advisory to you, a place of high level influence over you. And so you have them in your corporate environment, your work environment, or your business environment. And so it's so important for you to know thyself. And that's why you have to take the time to really know who you are, what you're made of, what you stand for, your core values. Because when you take influence from somewhere else, the only way it can sway you in any different direction is when you don't know who you are or what it is that you are setting out to accomplish. So when you speak about external influences, that's why it's so important for you to know who you are, so that when those influences come, you know how to navigate through them properly. You know which influences should have access to you, an influence over you, so to speak.
Yeah. So let's get the unpleasantries out of the way, because let's talk about uh, what people don't want to talk about. So first, I would say, you know, you're the CEO of your life. Own it, right? Um, that's not just a saying, but that's how most people take it.
Yep.
Oh, I'm the CEO of my life. But you can't just say I'm the CEO of my life. You got to actually learn how to be the CEO of your life, and you got to learn how to how to navigate as a CEO. So, people are going out and they're opening up these LLCs and calling themselves a business. They're putting on their business cards that they're CEO, chief executive officer, and they did any of the damn work. They haven't done any training. They haven't found any mentors to help teach them what they want to know. They're just walking around talking about I own a business. And one guy said to me, I own three businesses because he owned three LLCs. And I was like, okay. And you know what? And in my head, it's just like moron, and move on to the next conversation with somebody else. But usually doing it very politely without being
Right,
condescending or
right.
disrespectful to them. But we got to stop this pretend stuff, and got to do the work.
And you got to do the work.
Yeah,
You
and people
got
don't want to talk about that, and these,
right, right.
and this probably goes off the edge here, but and then people walking around talking about I'm a king and I'm a queen. Come on, stop. Anybody that knows anything about being a king and anything about being a queen, if you know anything about it, you got to go through a lot of training. You may be born into the bloodline, but you have to do a lot of training. You got to learn how to fight. You got to learn you got to educate yourself in history. You got to learn the culture. So you don't become a king or a queen by default.
Right.
Um, just by declaring I'm a king, I'm a queen. So let's stop this foolishness of everybody walking around talking about I'm a king, I'm a queen, and your behavior is so the opposite of you're more like a court jester, because people are laughing at you instead of willing to tell you the truth that you got to do the work, and it's nothing wrong with being a queen. It's nothing wrong with being a king, but
No.
do the work.
No,
You know?
no. We got to see the results. And I think that where you're coming from in the sense of, the foolishness is that, you know, we know what it takes to do the work. I mean, even with what you've decided very early on is to be very serious about where you were growing financially. But in order for you to be effective in doing a SWOT analysis, you have to have a vision. You have to have a vision for yourself. If in order for you to be have the or adapt to the CEO mindset and concept, you have to have a vision. You have to have a desire, and it's not just an average desire, it's a compelling desire. That's why I always say your why must make you high. It must be something that you need to really, it has to quench you every single day. It is the force that has to be there that gets you up in the morning, even when you don't feel like getting up in the morning, because you know the end results. And we're results driven. So we want to see tangible results. We want to know that you're starting something, but we want to see how you're achieving it, how you're finishing it strong. And so these conversations that we're having is not for the average person who doesn't want to come out of, Lodabar, so to speak, that low place.
Yeah.
You don't want to come out of that low place. These are not the conversations that you want to listen to, because we really want to give you the tools and the resources that are necessary for you to level up, for you to come to the next level. And I always say to folks, because I hear it over and over again, oh, I love it, own it. And then I have to, just like you did said, school them on the fact that this is not cute. Own it is not about being cute. It's not a cute slogan or a saying. It's about embracing everything that makes you you. And whether it's perfect, whether it's imperfect, the starting point to a real, true SWOT analysis is keeping it real with yourself. You got to look at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. You got to look at what makes you tick, what ticks you off. You got to really, really get to know your wiring and how you're designed in order for you to set these goals and achieve them. And so that's what we want to do. We want to be the ones who introduce the tough conversation uh,
Yeah.
that gets you grounded enough so that when you say you own a business, and it's okay to say you own a business, because what happens is that many people go to different conferences, they go to different events, they hear different motivational speakers, and they're excited. And the reason why they're saying that they own all of these businesses is because they're excited about them. But what is where the gap is in bringing to the people to really, really, truly owning their businesses, the hard work, the laying of the foundation of a true prosperous business. And that's where the gap is. And that individual or those individuals really not just doing the paperwork, so to speak, behind creating a business, but actually structuring the foundation and the systems that are required for you to not only just start, launch a business, but actually run and maintain and grow a business. Uh,
So I just want to comment on two things that you said there. One is, people, just because if you get out and you do something and you have money flowing in, and you're looking at your finances is only one indicator. This is just one. And you could be making a whole lot of money and be weak in all the other areas, and you're a poor CEO.
mhm.
So don't think because you're making money or that money's coming in that you are a CEO and you're successful. No, it just means that you got money, you know how to make money. So you have to look at all the other areas of your life as well, and of your business as well, because you're responsible for it in its entirety, not unless you're looking at it from the CFO standpoint, right? And either
Mhm.
way, if you're a CFO, you still got to understand the nature of all the other components of your business. The second thing that you had said there was, um, people walking around, that it's okay to own your business. Sure, it's okay to own your business, but it's also, um, I don't want people being laughed at, and most people laugh at you behind your back, and some of them laugh at you to your face, and you don't even know that they're laughing at you. But if we follow this scenario where you open up a LLC and you print up your business card saying that you're the CEO and you're putting out there, and someone says, "Hey, let's go to this conference," and you don't have the money to go to the conference, they're laughing at you because you're a business owner, but you can't even afford to go to a conference, or you can't participate in something that the average business person could participate in. That's essential to doing business and networking. Um, it, and it's like I own a business. I'm the CEO. You don't understand the numbers. So if someone asks you, what is your gross revenue? What are you net? What is your net worth of your organization, et cetera? Um, and you don't know the lingo, and you don't know your numbers, they're probably not going to say anything to you, but they're going to look at you and think you're ignorant. And most people aren't going to tell you that you're ignorant, right?
Right.
So, part of my success is that I had honest people around me that told me, no, that is so wrong. Here
Right.
you go. Take a look at it this way and rethink what you're doing and what you're saying. Um, so I think, the fundamentals have to be in place to first understand what a business is versus self-employed.
Right.
You open an LLC and you're working it every day, you're self-employed. You don't own a business. You're self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't understand it and you're dealing with business people, they know you're self-employed, but they probably not going to tell you that. And they're going to be chuckling behind your back and to your face. Oh, this person's crazy. And you're trying to figure out why you're not getting through doors and why you're not being successful at some of the things that you're attempting is because they're looking at you and going, I'm not doing business with that person.
Right. Right.
So, we got to get the fundamental stuff in place. And
Right.
just so that everyone's clear that's listening, when you own a business, that means that you are employing people and people are working for you, and that business is making money when you're sleeping or when you're on vacation. It's the machine, the leveraging of the machine that's operating and making you money. That's the business.
Yeah.
And if that's not happening, if you don't go to work and there's no money being made, you don't own a business. You're
Mhm.
self-employed. So you got to fundamentally understand the difference between the two, especially if you're out talking to people that truly run businesses.
Right, right. And so I want to be the counterpart to that, encourage folks. You got to know the language, but at the same token, you got to start somewhere. And so I want to encourage you to get to know, like Nathaniel was saying, know the language, And he mentioned he has a book out, From the Streets to the Boardroom. And so get the book, read the book. But what I want to encourage you to do is that I can care less if someone's laughing at me behind the behind the scenes, um, because you got to start somewhere, and that's what the importance about embracing all of who you are is that folks are going to laugh at you when you have a great idea. Um, Folks are going to laugh at you when you don't have a great idea. The key to this is finding out what it is that you want to do, having that vision in place. What is it that you really want to do? And be courageous enough to stand behind it. Don't be lazy. My biggest argument is, if you are going to call yourself a CEO, strive to get to that. Work hard to get to that. Understand, get the tools, the resources that you need to get to that. I say start where you are, and propel through that. because I have not had a whole bunch of advisors come along, but that has not stopped me from barreling through and accomplishing where I am today. And so I just want to encourage folks, like, listen, take your business seriously. That's what this SWOT analysis is really all about. It's about taking your business seriously, and it's about doing the evaluation, seeing where you are right now. You started the year off. Are you anywhere near what your year you intended for it to look like? And if you are not, do the analysis. Find out, where are you showing up strong in that? Where are you weak in that? Look at your own shortcomings and own that. Don't avoid them. Don't brush them under the rug and think that they're going to go away, because they're not going to go away. And look at your opportunities and take advantage of them. One of the biggest things about not becoming a CEO, or not even becoming self-employed, because the folks that we're really speaking to are not even operating at a self-employed level. They're using their full-time jobs and their full-time job money to run their businesses, and that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You should be using your business to run the business money to run your business, and that's exactly what you should be doing. And so you have to begin to do, what is your threat? Where are you fearful? Where are you lacking in skills, lacking in competencies? And you need to recognize that, get the support and the resources that you need to build that up. So I charge you this, Nathaniel. If they're not being CEOs, how do they get to that place, or even get to that place of self-employment? Do you offer any of those services? What are some of the resources that you could recommend for them?
Uh, everybody's in a different situation. We're all at different points within our lives. If someone wants to reach out to me, I'll be glad to have a conversation with them and and at least give them some guidance and some direction. Which direction they should be moving in. They send me an email, I'll respond to it. They can reach me at Life Coach. Um, what should I reach? Yeah, we'll have them call me at my like. Either they can reach me at lifecoachnathaniel@gmail.com. Um, and I'll respond and give some guidance there. But the way that you do it is called faking it until you make it, and we all do it. You fake it until you can get to where you want to get to, because it's part of, you got to see yourself where you want to be before you actually get there. You got that
Yes,
vision that you talked about. And you're right, people are going to laugh at you regardless. And it's
yep,
not so much that people are laughing. Look, if you're faking it until you make it and you're putting the work in, what you will find is most people that are successful will be willing to help you,
yep.
but they got to see that you're putting the work in. You
Gotta see
can't
it.
you can't come with the song and a dance and think that that's going to work. So I had this associate who he did a fantastic commercial, um, and it cost him $40,000 in renting actors and actresses and the yacht and expensive cars, the mansion, and a fantastic commercial. And I said to him, let me just ask you a simple question. He says, okay. I said, how much money what was your return on your investments? RO?
Exactly.
And he goes, I didn't get anything on it. And I'm like, and he spent $40,000 on this commercial. Who spends $40,000 on a commercial to get no return on it? But it stroked the ego, which made him feel good because he was the star of his own commercial, and the Bentley and the
Hmm.
airplane and on the yacht with all the pretty women around them and all of that.
Right,
It's like, that's $40,000 that you could have converted easily, and to $200,000 if you had put it somewhere other than feeding your own ego.
right, right.
So that's the kind of stuff that you do. Someone does that and they get out there and they're showing that. Someone who makes money that's successful at business look at that and go, and that's what I'm talking about, laughing behind your back and sometimes to your
Right.
face. Come on,
Right.
really? That is not a strategic business move at all.
No. No.
Uh, so those are the kind of things that we want people to avoid making those type of mistakes because they're very costly mistakes. Not
Yes.
only financially are they costly, but reputationally they're
Yes.
costly. And
Yes.
once your reputation is damaged in your industry, it's hard to bounce back. Can you do it?
Mhm.
Yeah, you probably could. But it's hard. It's that much harder to bounce back. So, you know,
Yeah. And those who have done the work, we have respect for the work. We don't have respect for faking it and you're really faking it. We because we could see the work. We could see the work when you're doing the work. We can see the work, and we'll respect that. And that's where that comes from. It comes from a heart of knowing what it takes to get here. And and respecting it. And so I want to encourage our viewers as we close up the half hour. I want to encourage our viewers to remember. That's why I said, you are the CEO of your life. When you start buying into that, when you have all these affirmations, affirm to yourself that you are the CEO of your life and it's time to make executive decisions. That means that's serious, deep thoughted, strategically plotted decisions. And that you need to do the SWOT analysis. It helps you to do an assessment of what's going on internally. And once you know what's going on internally, it awakens you to be aware of what's going on externally, and how it affects your businesses in the areas of strengths and weaknesses, and how these external factors can influence your opportunities and threats. You need to review this on a regular basis to get the results that you're looking to get, because you want to take this opportunity to do an assessment, a review. How have you been performing personally? Because before you can even begin to talk about your career or your business, it's how are you looking at yourself, and how are you envisioning yourself and how you're showing up in this thing called life. Um, because how you're showing up yourself in this thing called life is going to tell you how you're going to navigate in the other areas. And so that's why it's so important for these SWOT analysis to
yeah,
be done and done on a regular basis. I see your face. What are your closing thoughts?
yeah, you need to uh people need to pay attention to who they're taking advice and guidance from.
Yep.
Look, most people that are entrepreneurs or people that are out there trying to be entrepreneurs or business people, a lot of the reason you fail is because of who you have around you. You can't have Shorty and Pookie giving you advice. You're going to have to find people that can give you sound, strong advice, and it's going to tell you the stuff that you don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give a secret away here. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever business plan it is that you put in place, make sure you have a group of people, small group of people that are smarter and more advanced and successful than you are. Take a look at that business plan and tear that business plan apart. It's better that it get torn apart in your boardroom
Mm-hmm.
and you restructure it so that when you present it for financing or you present it for whatever you're presenting it for, it is as close to flawless as possible. Then for you to let your ego get engaged and you put your business plan out there and you haven't had anybody test it internally and you fail miserably at it. But that's why most people fail in business is they surround themselves with the wrong people and or they don't surround themselves at all. They think that they know all the answers.
Right. Right.
So if you're one of those people that think that you know it all, you might make a little bit of money here and there, but it's not sustainable. You're going to have other people around you that's supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're making decisions with the wrong people around you, it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Something's going to break down. So just give some thought to that as you're out there doing what you do on a daily basis, and you know, keep working at it. Keep
And
working.
keep
You got
working.
to do work. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, this has been amazing. I love it because we're digging in deep. We're going in deep, and we need to do the deep tissue work so we can loosen up those muscles so they can grow. But I want to charge you with this. Nathaniel is talking about the external influences. My biggest thing is the internal influences. You have got to get yourself to a place where you are able to tell yourself the most difficult things, that you see the things that need to be changed about yourself, and be truthful and be honest with yourself about some things. When you are, it is easier to receive external feedback. It's not difficult to receive the external feedback because all that's doing is affirming and reaffirming what you already know about yourself. It's important for us to know ourselves, become self aware, to have a desire and love ourselves enough to become self developed, that we go out, we get, just like he said, you have to understand, if you want to really take charge of your life, you have to know what that means. And that means that you have to go get educated. You have to do the research. You have to do the work, the introspective work that I always talk about. So you have to self develop. And then you also have to come to a place where self mastery is in place, where you know how to self regulate. You know how to tell yourself some things. You shouldn't have to have everybody tell you. You should know some fundamental things about yourself first, so that when people start coming in and talking to you, it's building on a healthy you. It's building on a you that already knows about yourself and where you want to go in your life. And so this has been phenomenal. I'm looking forward to next week because we're getting in and we're getting to do the work, It's your life. Own it. We love you. Have an amazing week. This has been the Motivational Moments with Marissa and Nathaniel. Looks like we waiting for the rest of the team to show up. They'll come when they're ready. We love you and have a phenomenal week. Remember, it's your life. Own it.